Hey, greetings, everyone. It's Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules and out of your lives to spend 30 minutes with our every other week Facebook Live event. Again, I want to thank our website administrator, Marie. I want to thank our website support staff. I also want to thank all of you as part of our special operations team and our discussion groups who tune in and make sure that you continue to have good quality conversation about some of the things that we're posting on theoldschoolpatriot.com. And once again, just to remind you that if you want to know all things about Alan West, you will find it at theoldschoolpatriot.com and then, of course, at this Facebook page. And I really, really thank you for your support over all these years, allowing me to have this platform where I can share thoughts, perspectives, and insights. And as always, with these Facebook Live events, we spend the first 15 minutes throwing out some topics for discussion, and then I'll go over and answer a lot of your questions. But first and foremost, for those of you that are looking at the right side of my face, no, I was not in a fight with Mike Tyson or Evander Holyfield. Over the weekend, incredibly enough, I had fractured a molar on the left side, and then the next thing you know, today, I fractured another molar on the right side. So I just got out of the chair at Preston Hollow Dental Center here in Dallas, Texas. Dr. Christina Ayala did an incredible job. I spent about 3 hours in the chair going through oral surgery, so hopefully this will go down. Tomorrow night, I'll be down in Augusta, Georgia. So going back to the great state of Georgia, yes, the Georgia Bulldogs stomped a new one into my Tennessee Volunteers. It's going to be a long season there on Rocky Top. But I'll be down in Augusta, Georgia at the Marriott at the Convention Center to speak with the pro-life pregnancy center there in Augusta with their annual dinner. And I can't think of a better topic to talk about, especially how it relates to what we see happening with our Supreme Court, because there's a reason why the left is going just so apoplectic in this incredible meltdown, and the way that they're treating Judge Kavanaugh is because they don't want to see that place where they can mandate and implement their ideological agenda. They will lose control of that place, and that's the United States Supreme Court. And let me start out by talking about that. Today is Monday, the 1st of October, 2018. And something was missing today. It was that 9th Supreme Court justice. And this is exactly what the progressive socialist left wanted. You go all the way back to the evening when we were waiting for who would be the nominee from President Donald Trump, and all of the left came out. They even had fill-in-the-blank signs. They did not care who the nominee was. They were going to be against that nominee. And when it was announced it was Judge Brett Kavanaugh, well, we saw them come out with all of the Kavanaugh not knowing anything about Judge Brett Kavanaugh, who currently serves on the second highest court in the land, and that's the D.C. Circuit Court. And he's been there for quite some time, I believe close to 12 years. He has over 300 court decisions there that, well, obviously Spartacus Booker and the rest of them, that incredibly lying Vietnam veteran by the name of Senator Richard Blumenthal, they never read any of those. But if you go back and understand what Senator Chuck Schumer said, he said very blatantly that they are going to stop this nomination. They're going to defeat this nomination. What I find so incredibly hypocritical is that when Barack Obama was able to present Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan as his two nominees, and please, all you folks on the left, don't give me this Merrick Garland thing, because if you go back, you can listen to Chuck Schumer and also Joe Biden, both senators at the time, when George W. Bush was president, and they said that he could not, in his final year, nominate someone to the Supreme Court. We call that the Biden rule. So don't talk to me about tit for tat with Merrick Garland. But the thing is that there was no drama with Sotomayor or Kagan's nomination. Sure, ideologically, constitutional conservatives did not agree with them, but they were the nominee. And the whole thing about the Senate, the legislative branch, Article 1, they're supposed to advise and consent. They have not done that. Whenever someone other than the progressive socialist left, the Democrat Socialist Party, nominates someone to the Supreme Court, it's all about drama. Robert Bork, Clarence Thomas, and now, incredibly so, Brett Kavanaugh. Now, some people may say, well, why didn't the left throw such a tizzy with Neil Gorsuch? Because they still had Justice Kennedy there, and Justice Kennedy was a swing vote that most times swung to their side. But as soon as Justice Kennedy surprisingly announced his retirement, that threw the left into a complete meltdown. The fact that Donald Trump would be able to nominate a second person to the Supreme Court. And look at what they have tried to do to Brett Kavanaugh. And I will, wholeheartedly say I don't understand the motivation behind what Senator Jeff Flake did back on Friday, unless the two protesters that cornered him in an elevator so terrified him, which is what the mob does. They threaten, coerce, and intimidate. But why would a sitting U.S. Senator be so terrified? Why would someone that is resigning from the U.S. Senate decide that this is what he wants to do? Because in asking for this FBI investigation of a person that has already undergone 6 background investigations and background checks, what is there to uncover? If you have no evidence brought forward, if you have no corroborating witnesses to come forward for these 3 women, Dr. Ford, Ms. Ramirez, and Ms. Swetnick, then what is the FBI supposed to go out there and look for? They're supposed to go out and look for a house that Dr. Ford does not know where it is, does not know how she got there, does not know how she got back home. What are they supposed to look for? We already have sworn statements under penalty of perjury. That's a felony offense from individuals to recant and say to Dr. Ford, we don't know what you're talking about. Of course, Dr. Ford said that the one best friend of hers, well, she's just sick, and that's why she, said that she doesn't remember anything, much the same as Dr. Ford doesn't remember anything. But the fact now is that if Jeff Flake believes that, or Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski believe that just giving the Democrats a few more days, that's going to satisfy their appetite? No, it's not. Because unless the FBI comes back and says definitively, yes, Judge Brett Kavanaugh is guilty of these sexual assaults, these allegations and accusations have been proven true, they're just going to say, well, we don't believe it. As a matter of fact, they're already coming out and saying, well, why is it just this, artificial timeline of 1 week? Well, that's what Senator Coons agreed with Jeff Flake. But they're already setting it up to the point where they can delegitimize this in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And also expect this. Expect something else to come out of the woodworks in this week. I can guarantee you that somewhere in some dark, faraway corner in that strategy room of the deep state, that you have someone trying to figure out what else can we throw against the wall against Judge Brett Kavanaugh. And as a matter of fact, if you listen to some of the talking points, I was listening to some of the questions that were offered today to the president during his press conference after the successful completion of the new trade agreement between the United States, Mexico, and Canada, USMCA. The question line was, did Brett Kavanaugh mischaracterize his drinking? Did Brett Kavanaugh mischaracterize his drinking? So now we're going to keep a very qualified jurist from being seated on the Supreme Court because maybe he didn't count how many beers he had back when he was a senior in college or a senior in high school or a freshman in college. Is that the new level? Or should I say that's the new low that the Progressive Socialist left, the Democrat Party, is going to go to prevent Judge Brett Kavanaugh from sitting there on the Supreme Court? Because if the left wants to play this game that now is all about how many beers you had back when you were a senior in high school or when you were a freshman in college, what about Ted Kennedy? We know what Ted Kennedy did, and we know about his problem with drinking. His problem with drinking that, well, it led to the death of a young lady in the Chappaquiddick River by the name of Mary Jo Kopechne. But that's okay. He's the lion of the Senate. He's a great guy. But Judge Kavanaugh mischaracterized his drinking when he was a senior in high school, maybe a freshman in college. Or how about the former president, 44, Barack Hussein Obama, or Barry Soetoro, whichever name that you want to use. How many people remember those pictures of him, looking like Jimmy Cliff, Bob Marley toking on a spliff? And we know about his admitted drug use. But hey, don't worry about that. It's okay on their side that someone ran for president that was a former drug abuser, admittedly so. But now the question is whether or not Judge Brett Kavanaugh mischaracterized his drinking when he was a senior in high school and a freshman in college. See, here in the state of Texas, we've got this guy by the name of Representative Robert Francis O'Rourke, just a white Irish kid. Somehow they gave him this cute little Hispanic nickname. His nickname is Bob, folks, or Bobby, if you want to use that. But here you have a person in Texas running for Senate that has an incredible DUI arrest record, that has lied about the fact that the police report showed that he tried to flee a scene of an accident where he was heavily intoxicated. But don't worry about Beto O'Rourke and his drinking problem. We are talking about Brett Kavanaugh's mischaracterization of his drinking when he was a senior in high school or a freshman in college. And the other thing that I find so perplexing is that the leftist media and the Democrats, for whatever reason, why are they not talking about Keith Ellison? How many times have you heard the name Karen Monahan? If you don't know who Karen Monahan is, that's because the media on the left side has done an incredible job. She has brought accusations and allegations of physical and sexual abuse against Representative Keith Ellison, who is also number 2 at the Democrat National Committee, who is also running to be the top law enforcement officer for the state of Minnesota. He's running to be their attorney general. Can you imagine what would happen if a Republican were in the same position, a sitting member of Congress, number 2 at the RNC, and running for attorney general in his home state, and a woman came forth with pictures, a corroborating witness to the physical abuse, in this case, Miss Monahan's son? The Democrats would be going crazy. But there's something about this duplicitous standard, this hypocrisy, or should we say just flat out the absence of standards when it comes to the Democrats. You can have someone like Senator Richard Blumenthal talking about truth and honesty and integrity when he is the liar who said he served in Vietnam at Da Nang. Let me tell you something. My older brother served in Vietnam. He was there at Khe Sanh during the incredible siege of that place. He was wounded in combat, Senator Blumenthal. You don't forget whether or not you served in Vietnam. But see, for the left, they can say whatever they want because they don't hold themselves to any standards. But yet the question out there from the left now and from the media is, did Brett Kavanaugh mischaracterize his drinking when he was a senior in high school and a freshman in college? You know, they're already realizing that the FBI is going to come back and say there's no there there. Just the same as there was no there with Hillary Clinton and her private email server. But that was okay because Hillary was on their side. See, the Republican Party, and I must say, hats off to Senator Lindsey Graham. Somehow he has found his big boy pants. And I would hope that he can be the next chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. If there's a reason to make sure that the Republicans keep the Senate, let's get Lindsey Graham as the Senate Judiciary Committee chairman. Chuck Grassley, I mean, you're a nice fella and everything like that, but you're not a junkyard dog. You're not dog fighting mad. You got to show more emotion. You got to call these people out for who they are. And that's what Lindsey Graham has done. And that's what we need to have happen. Stop compromising, stop appeasing, stop acquiescing to the most abhorrent of behavior that seeks to demonize, dehumanize, and delegitimize a good man in Judge Brett Kavanaugh. And the FBI is going to come back and say there's nothing there, and that will not be good enough for the left. They will find something else. They will start talking about his drinking when he was a senior in high school and a freshman in college. But the real point, the real crux of what is happening right now, there are some 20 different people that President Donald Trump has on his list to nominate to the Supreme Court. I truly believe that he will get an opportunity to name 3 others. Stephen Breyer is going to probably step aside soon. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I know she's hanging on by tooth and nails, but if Donald Trump wins re-election, I don't know if she can make it. Not saying that I don't want her to make it, but I think we should have people that are on our Supreme Court that are capable and able and cognizant of the cases being brought before them. And Justice Clarence Thomas may step down. But if Donald Trump goes to that list of 20 to 22 individuals, when they have seen what Brett Kavanaugh has gone through, how many of them may say, Mr. President, it would be a great honor to be nominated to be on the United States Supreme Court, but I don't want to do that. I do not want to submit myself, my wife, my children, my friends, my family to any of this. See, that's the essence of what the rule of the mob brings about. All of their threats, all of their coercion, all their intimidation, yelling at you in restaurants, forcing you to leave, yelling at you in elevators. And I'm trying to understand how those two young ladies got to that elevator there, which is members only on the United States Senate, and had all those cameras waiting. Sounds like a setup to me. But yet, Senator Flake cowered to the mob. That is what the Democrat Party has become. They're a mob of liars. They're a mob of people that drink excessively. They're a mob of former DUI arrested individuals. They're a mob of people who, as the president did cocaine once upon a time. But for them, it's cool, it's hip, it's the end thing. But for anyone else that opposes their ideological agenda, just the fact that you breathe oxygen is enough to cause them to go into an apoplectic meltdown. The only way that you're going to stop this incredible, incessant, continuing ranting is to vote out as many of these Democrats as you can. Just the same as we saw in state legislatures that were flipped, state houses, governor's mansions that were flipped. We need to start seeing it at city councils. We need to start seeing it in our school boards. We need to start seeing it in the United States House of Representatives and with our Senate. If you reward this type of behavior with the House of Representatives, or God forsaken, the United States Senate, just imagine how bad it's going to get. Just imagine how you can start counting the days till they do seek to undermine and destroy these great United States of America. November the 6th, 2018. 2 years ago, we sent a message in November of 2016. They didn't get the memo. They have doubled down. They have tripled down. We need to make sure that they understand the message just one more time. And then again, we'll send them the message in November 2020. All right, let's go to some of your questions that we have here. We got a few minutes left. Morgan Ars says it was a definite setup. Apparently, Sheila Davis, apparently many of them have drank so much they are missing a few brain cells. Garrett Minio, Darth Vader Ginsburg should be booted off the court. Let's see, Pamela Sturba, Lorenzana, they were planted, those girls. Well, one of those girls, we come to find out, is head of an organization that is funded by George Soros. Again, like I wrote on our website, The Old School Patriot, follow the money, and you will see exactly what's going on. Tammy Navarro, a mob that abuses women. You know, it's interesting, Tammy, that you bring that up. No one is talking about how the Democrat Party, the Progressive Socialist Left, are politicizing sexual abuse and assaults. Because this is what you don't want to see happen. All of a sudden, we get to the point where we are really questioning women who come forward with real accusations and allegations. See, when you have Karen Monahan, who has pictures and has evidence and has a corroborating witness, her own son, and the left completely disavows that, just the same as they did with Christine Willey, Juanita Broderick, Paula Jones, Monica Lewinsky. See, the left somehow chooses which women to believe. If there are accusations against someone on the left, nah, you don't have to believe them. Now, Al Franken, you know, you had the pictures. And I think Al Franken was a sacrificial lamb for them. But look at what is happening right now. No one is talking about Keith Ellison. You want to have an FBI investigation? Richard Blumenthal, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Dianne Feinstein. You really want to have an FBI investigation? Do an FBI investigation on Keith Ellison, number 2 at the DNC, sitting member of Congress, running for Attorney General in the state of Minnesota, endorsed by the Minnesota Democrat Party. CNN, MSNBC, PBS, ABC, CBS, NBC. Where's your coverage of Karen Monahan? All of you reporters out there that were at that press conference, why haven't you asked about Karen Monahan? Because you're sick, you're disgusting, you're despicable, you're demonic, you're evil. And the American people see that, and they see you for who you are. Yeah, I said demonic and evil, because that's the only way that I can characterize this type of behavior. It's not sane. Robin Duffy, when will Hillary and Obama go to jail? Probably never. I mean, I find it very interesting that we have a majority of Republicans in the United States Senate, and they send a special prosecutor against their own president. Harry Reid and Chuck Schumer would have never done that. Like I said, we need someone like Lindsey Graham who has found his big boy pants. We need more Republicans that can find their big boy and big girl pants to step up and start fighting back. Because they only get one thing. You got to throw punches back. That's why President Trump is sitting in the White House. He's the first guy to throw punches. Okay, let's see who else. Ray Hayes, sir, please continue to inform us. I absolutely will. Paul Chabot, if you won't run for POTUS, then how about Angela? Well, you probably get a better deal with my wife, Angela, running. She does have an MBA and a PhD. Venus Bristow, Colonel West, is this why you're not running again? Nah. Everything in God's time. But I have to tell you, you know, sometimes you can get a lot more done in a position like I'm in right now than being up there in the House and the Senate. But if God wants me to be back there in Capitol Hill, I'll be back there. And remember, I've just moved here to Texas 4 years ago, so we'll see what happens. Sun is starting to go down, and I don't have really high light here, so I'll take a few more questions. Colleen Kinsley Greenlaw, the Democrats ignore their misbehavior. Well, they don't see it as misbehavior. Donna Cook Shellhorse, are Democrats now treasonous traitors? I think you can almost say that when you look at how they're seeking to undermine the rule of law in the United States of America. Patty Shepard McCune, oxygen is needed for any human being to slither around into the ground. Okay. Kim Rodriguez, something needs to be done with George Soros. I agree. At some point in time, we have to do something. Tricia Bohr Richter, Mr. West, please remind everyone that every vote counts, please. Absolutely, Tricia. Every vote does count. And early voting is going to soon start. And of course, that's where you see a lot of shenanigans from the progressive socialist left. Make sure that you sign up to be a poll watcher. Take the time out on election day. You know, tell your bosses right now you're going to take a day off or whatever, but we got to make sure that we guard against all of the chicanery of the left. Crystal Martin, please run for office, sir. Trust me, you know, after this election cycle, I'm going to pray hard about it. Angela and I are going to talk about it, and you'll know what our decision is. But it's got to be something that the Lord lays on our heart. Dalton Thibodeau, so when are you running again? Tomorrow morning. I'll probably be doing about 3.5 miles. All right, Mary Spicer, Republicans need to man up. Absolutely right. Denise Jackson Baker, vote red wave. I agree. Terry Hardiman, are you going to attend MOAR 2019? I got to know what MOAR 2019 is. So if you could please tell me what MOAR stands for, I'd be happy to. Shay McKay, I found mine. I have huge, big granny pants. All right, bone up, get ready, fight. Okay, find your spine, people. This is what we need. And encourage your member of the House or the Senate that is out there running to do the exact same. William Glass, I platonically love you, man, and I love you back. Bro love all the way, William Glass. Can't believe Texans would vote for Bobby O'Rourke. I think that after this first debate, you're starting to see, not so many of those signs that were out there. It sounded real cute, sounded real trendy, but now people are starting to realize what he stands for, which is nothing but a very far left progressive agenda. I don't think he's going to be successful. God bless Alan West today. The president and USMA, United States made Canada accountable for fair trade. Absolutely right. Look, when it comes to his policy agenda, President Trump is knocking it out of the park. And I think he's getting comfortable with this thing called being the president of the United States of America. Okay, Miriam Villarino, thank you for being part of our great party. It's not about being part of a party, it's about being part of a constitutional republic and being a guardian of this republic, because it's not about party to me. It's about the philosophy of governance that respects the individual and our rule of law. So that's what's most important. I will always say that I'm a constitutional conservative. It's about principles first. Okay, Mark Adamson, years ago, you made a comment about communists in Congress and the media made fun of you. You were right. Hey, I guess I was before my time. But if you study ideologies and political principles, socialism, communism, I mean, Vladimir Lenin said it, the ultimate goal of socialism is communism. You can be a socialist but not a communist. You cannot be a communist without being first a socialist. Socialism is an economic model that leads to a societal model. That's what communism is. Okay, we need the truth. Thank you, Deb Courtney, my pleasure. Bonnie Harris, how is Sessions? Is he doing anything? I don't know. You're talking about Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General? I wish he would do more. Let's see, a couple of final questions. Anthony Presnell, get back in politics. Don't diss my post. Thank you for your service. All right. Shay McKay, you're back again. I'll be a poll watcher with my huge granny pants. All right, Shay, we got it. You like your granny pants, all right? Daisy Esterly, keep talking and pushing for Brett. I will, because I'm telling you what, I'm not going to sit back and watch the destruction of a good man, because if that happens and they're successful, it's going to happen more often than not. And when he stood up and said that you will not defeat me, I will not surrender, I have the utmost respect for Judge Brett Kavanaugh, his wife, and his 2 daughters. Let's see. Thanks for helping Don Bacon, Barbara Jones. Absolutely. It's my pleasure to go up there to Nebraska for him. Cecil Massey, would you agree, Mr. West, that many Democrats and the like are guilty of sedition against the United States? Not so much the Democrats, but the people that they support. Antifa, I mean, this is a domestic terrorist organization. George Soros in support of organizations such as that to undermine this constitutional republic. Follow the money. Let's find it out. And that's what we have to do. That's why I would be excited to see a Lindsey Graham as the Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman. Okay, last question. Betsy Karaoke, I am a Marine Corps spouse and love your mind and believes God made a really sharp man in you. Thank you, because I know that Marine spouses, y'all kind of look down your nose to us Army guys, but Semper Fidelis, and thank you for standing beside your warrior. Tracy Sehouse West. Tammy Sehouse West. Tammy, hi, cousin. Love the walkaway movement. Need more unity, less division among patriotic Americans. It's got to be about principle, and I think that's what the hashtag walkaway movement is all about. Deandra Cedarwall, do you think military tribunal is coming for some elected officials? No, that's not what the military is about. We need to have those military tribunals for the people that are down in Guantanamo Bay. It is appalling to me that Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is still alive. He should have been tried, sentenced, and executed quite some time ago. Let's see. Linda Morrison Carlisle, I saw a sign on I-20 about abortion being Black self-care. I cried because it's genocide. Yeah, I wrote about that at the Old School Patriot. It's incredible to see that. Okay, look, let me close this out. In a couple of weeks, my second book, Hold Texas, Hold the Nation, Victory or Death, will be out October the 16th. You can pre-order it on Amazon. We're going to get up some book signing dates that we have already scheduled out here in the state of Texas and a couple of other places. Would love to see you. Put my John Hancock and personalize it for you in the book, Hold Texas, Hold the Nation. Again, thank you so much for all of the opportunities you allow me to share with you and the platform that you have and the support that you give me. But right now, I'm going to go and get ready and pack because I'm going to be down in Augusta, Georgia for the Pro-Life Pregnancy Center down there in Augusta, speaking tomorrow night at the Marriott Convention Center. So if you are in Augusta, Georgia, close by, or in North Augusta, South Carolina, please come on over and let me shake your hand. I'd love to see you. And always remember, folks, steadfast and loyal. God bless you all. Thank you.